Too late.
He sold his soul, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I will never understand.
You got a $ tattooed on your ring finger. You never, ever, ever trust got a $ tattooed on her ring finger.
Picture this. You're just 22, fresh out of college, and you ink a deal that should make you untouchable, $46 million guaranteed, with a jaw-dropping $30 million signing bonus wired straight into your account. For most people, that's the kind of bag you only dream about. It's like hitting the jackpot.
It's like an epidemic of women married and taking your money and scramming.
Yeah, you got women that are predators looking to get dragged.
But for Travis Hunter, that so-called blessing is starting to look like the biggest trap in recent sports history. Word on the street is that his wife, Leanna, is allegedly coming for a mind-blowing $40 million in their divorce case.
There's certain women who have the need to always be a victim. And I do believe that she probably thinks that she's the one who has suffered because of public scrutiny. It's time for her to play victim, okay? Woe is me. Yo, I went through so much to get here. And basically, just like how we saw many situations before.
Think about that for a second. She's asking for almost his entire rookie contract. That leaves him scraping by after taxes and agent cuts. This isn't just a hit to the wallet. It's a financial earthquake so massive that bankruptcy doesn't just look possible, it looks unavoidable. And yet, the madness doesn't stop there.
People stand up, especially your family, especially your fiance. They give you a standing ovation, hug ya, celebrate ya. Liana didn't get that memo.
Because here's the real kicker. This wasn't some freak accident or tragic twist of fate. The warning signs were flashing like neon lights on the Vegas Strip. Industry vets were hollering from the rooftops, telling him to guard his fortune. Comedians were cracking jokes that were way too close to the truth. Even his own coach went public, practically begging him to protect himself with ironclad legal protection. The most shocking part? Travis chose to ignore every single warning, walking straight into the storm with his eyes wide open.
About her. Man got all this NIL money and he's a Heisman candidate. Every camera is on him all the time. Yet now you choose to be him in public. You have no problem embarrassing your man in public.
The internet froze in disbelief, watching this train wreck unravel in slow motion, like a driver with plenty of time to slam the brakes, but instead slams the gas. What you're about to hear isn't just some sad story about love and money. It's a brutal reminder of how ignoring flashing red flags can flip your biggest win into your darkest nightmare. Because when you start tracing back the trail of this relationship, the warning signs weren't just written on the wall, they were blazing in giant neon letters set on fire with a whole marching band blasting behind them, and still he looked the other way. Now here's the part that should chill every young athlete to the bone. When it came time to plan the wedding, guess who took control of the location? Leanna. And instead of sticking with spots that made sense, Georgia, where Travis played ball, or Florida, where they spent time together, she locked her sights on Chattanooga, Tennessee, like a heat-seeking missile. And her excuse, she told everyone it was about the venue, the mountains, the view, the picture-perfect backdrop for their dream wedding.
With Travis not being a partier, and she likes to party, and you not wanting to stop your girl's life. But the fact that you drove her to the party and waited outside the party and drove her home just screams insecurity.
Sounds romantic on the surface, but when you look closer, it's clear this wasn't just about pretty scenery. It was about something much bigger hiding in plain sight. Sounds like a sweet love story, right? Wrong. Hidden under all that romantic fluff was a legal landmine so explosive it could wipe out millions, and barely anyone even knew it was there. See, Tennessee isn't just another wedding spot, it's a trap disguised as paradise. The state has some of the most spouse-friendly divorce laws in the entire country. While most states make you stay married for years before alimony even becomes an option, Tennessee throws that rule book straight in the trash. Here, you could literally file for divorce the day after your honeymoon and still cash in spousal support if you claim financial need. Let that sink in. No waiting period, no minimum marriage length, no stick it out a few years requirement. All it takes is proving you became financially dependent, and suddenly the court can slap your partner with maintenance payments immediately. And this isn't some well-kept secret among lawyers. It's been a red alert topic for years. Legal experts have been warning athletes and celebs nonstop about this loophole, calling Tennessee a hot spot for strategic marriages. The laws are so tilted that divorce attorneys straight up call the state the Las Vegas of divorce settlements. Imagine that.
They'll try to hit you with that. Why I gotta get a prenup if you really love me? If you really love me, sign the prenup. What you here for? If you here for love, just sign.
A wedding destination that doubles as the fastest way to strip a millionaire clean. Yeah, let's be real, there are women out here who move like predators, hunting for the right player to get drafted into their own game plan. And here's the part that'll make your skin crawl. Travis reportedly had multiple attorneys offering to draft him a prenup for free. Industry veterans were practically on their knees, begging him to lock down his fortune and protect himself. But somewhere between the wedding planning, the champagne toasts, and the happily ever after fantasy, that ironclad legal shield never happened. Now connect the dots, the carefully chosen Tennessee wedding spot, the total lack of prenuptial protection, and the suspicious timing. Put it all together and it stops looking like a fairy tale romance and starts looking like a cold, calculated business move. And guess what? The most expensive business transactions usually go down in places where the laws are stacked to benefit one side. Sure, the venue was beautiful, the mountains, the scenery, all picture perfect.
You gotta let people make their own mistakes. Sometimes you just can't tell nobody nothing.
But underneath that pretty backdrop was a legal trap that could bleed him dry. And when you rewind to the very start, the warning signs were practically screaming at him. The first, that infamous tattoo on Leanna's ring finger, a giant dollar sign where the wedding band should have been. Some people get silly ink for fun, sure, but in this story, it wasn't just quirky, it was symbolic, bold, and right in your face. Money wasn't in the background, it was the centerpiece. Fans and skeptics online spotted it instantly, asking, was she committing to Travis or just committing to chasing the bag? And the clues didn't stop there. In a widely shared interview before they even tied the knot, Leanna admitted, he wasn't my type at all. She brushed off his early attempts to win her over, saying she usually went for a completely different kind of guy. Sounds innocent enough on the surface, but when someone publicly downplays their own partner like that, it makes you wonder, was this ever really about love or just about the lifestyle? That wasn't just a lack of chemistry, it was a blaring alarm about what the real motivation might have been. Even their early social media interactions had people side-eyeing. Travis was out here posting heartfelt captions, celebrating milestones, and pouring his heart out about their future together. But Leanna? Her replies were often short, sarcastic, and sometimes straight up dismissive. To anyone paying attention, the mismatch was loud. Folks started asking, was this a relationship built on love? Or just the rush of fame and fortune? And it wasn't only random commenters stirring things up. Friends, insiders, even respected veterans in the league spoke up, warning him that something wasn't adding up. Yet those warnings kept falling on deaf ears. The cracks were so obvious, even casual fans could see the pattern. With high-profile athletes, when your partner's public statements scream more about the lifestyle than about you, that's a red flag waving right in your face. But the craziest part, these warning signs weren't tucked away in private. They were blasted out for the whole internet to see. Every sarcastic comment, every dismissive reply, every hint of shade, it all left a digital trail that anyone with Wi-Fi could follow like breadcrumbs to the truth. Insiders, fans, even Travis's own circle saw the signs, but blinded by what looked like love, he tuned it all out. The dollar sign tattoo, the not my type comment, the cold replies on social media, it all added up to a message louder than words. And then came the Heisman Trophy ceremony, the peak of his college career, where he should have been celebrated like a king. But instead of sharing in his glory, Leanna's presence cast a shadow. Cameras caught her glued to her phone, distant, barely smiling when the moment called for pride. Body language experts and thousands online noticed instantly. While Travis lived his dream, she looked bored, detached, like she wasn't even part of the celebration. When Travis's mentor, Deion Sanders, tried to guide Leanna to stand proudly beside her husband, she reportedly brushed it off, choosing to stay off to the side. The crowd noticed, the viewers noticed, and once the clip hit the internet, it spread like wildfire. Suddenly, the viral question of the night was, is she really here for him, or just for the spotlight? And that moment wasn't some one-off slip. At huge brand events, like the high-profile Adidas launch where Travis was supposed to shine, Leanna's cold energy stole the show again. While other couples laughed, hugged, and showed chemistry, she stayed distant, barely interacting with Travis, often mingling more with event staff than with sponsors or fellow athletes. What should have been career-defining nights turned into awkward scenes of disconnect, leaving people whispering about what was really going on. Instead of being celebrated, Travis became meme material. Social media threads tore apart every look, every gesture, every clip of Leanna acting detached. And in a business where image is everything, those public humiliations cut deep. They weren't just embarrassing, they were giant warning signs that something in this marriage was fractured, and no trophy, no endorsement, no highlight reel could cover it up. Let's pull back the curtain on another major red flag, one that friends, mentors, and fans spotted from the jump. The party princess routine. Long before divorce filings and money battles, the warnings were hiding in the day-to-day details. The way a couple lives together, supports each other, and shows respect when the cameras are off. That's where the truth comes out. And with Travis and Leanna, the contrast couldn't have been louder. Travis was disciplined to the core, barely drank, obsessed with training, locked in on his career, and respected in his community for keeping things low-key. Leanna, the complete opposite. Her nights out were practically public record. Glossy club pics, endless cocktail selfies, and Instagram stories of marathon parties that stretched until sunrise. Now, partying on its own isn't a crime, but in this story, those wild nights painted a picture that couldn't be ignored. Because while Travis was grinding for greatness, Leanna was chasing a very different kind of spotlight, and the clash between their worlds was only growing louder by the day. Plenty of first-hand accounts painted the same picture. Travis sitting for hours outside clubs and venues, waiting in parking lots while Leanna partied the night away. Even his own teammates confirmed it. Sometimes he was basically her on-call driver, pulling up at 2 a.m. just to bring her home. For an athlete whose prime depends on sleep and strict routines, playing chauffeur night after night was more than a sacrifice. It was sabotage. And here's the real kicker. It wasn't just the late nights, it was the imbalance that made everyone uneasy. In most power couples, you see both partners supporting each other's dreams. But with Travis and Leanna, the pattern was clear. Her social calendar came first, while he bent over backwards to accommodate, even if it meant jeopardizing his craft. The optics were brutal. What made it worse? Leanna loved telling these stories, bragging about Travis as the devoted partner willing to put himself second. To fans and insiders, that wasn't romance. It was exploitation dressed up as loyalty. And if it sounds familiar, that's because it is. Athletes before Travis have fallen into this same trap. The public supportive partner narrative masking a relationship built on disrespect and one-sided effort. Former stars and commentators have been flagging these signs for years. When your partner chases parties and clout while you sacrifice rest and recovery, it's not love. It's a countdown to disaster. So when today's headlines scream about a $40 million divorce, don't be fooled into thinking it all started in a courtroom. The truth is, the cracks were already showing on those long nights when Travis sat in the car, engine running, while the real party went on without him. Sometimes the loudest warning isn't in the shouts, it's in the silence of who's left waiting in the car. And if you thought the red flags were clear before, wait until you see how many heavyweights tried to step in for Travis Hunter, only to be brushed aside. This wasn't just social media chatter. This was a parade of legends, mentors, and respected veterans practically begging him to slow down before saying, "I do." Front and center was Deion Sanders, Coach Prime himself. If there's anyone who knows the traps that come with fame, fortune, and women circling pro athletes, it's Deion. Long before the wedding, he went viral for pulling Travis aside at Jackson State and giving it to him straight. If you're thinking about marriage, you need to protect yourself. And he didn't just say it, he said it on camera. Deion even cracked a joke that wasn't really a joke. "Let me know because I'ma do your prenup. For you, it's gonna be about this thick," stacking his hands high for emphasis. Everybody laughed at the time, writing it off as Coach being overly cautious. But now, with rumors of a $40 million divorce splashed across headlines, those words sound less like a joke and more like a prophecy. The chilling part, he wasn't the only one sounding the alarm. And the fact Travis ignored them all might be the single biggest mistake of his career. One no stat sheet or contract bonus can cover up. By the time the wedding bells rang, the stage was already set for disaster, and the world was watching every step like a slow-motion countdown. The whispers weren't just coming from internet trolls, they were coming from people who knew the game, who had lived it, who had lost millions the exact same way. Old teammates, retired stars, even financial advisors were warning Travis, "Don't gamble your future on blind love." Yet he marched forward, deaf to every siren. The red flags weren't subtle, they were neon. The $ tattoo, the not my type confession, the cold shoulder at career-defining events, it was all out in the open. And the irony, every single move was broadcast online, Instagram lives, Twitter clips, viral TikToks, making it impossible to claim he didn't know. Fans begged him in comment sections to protect the bag, while analysts on sports shows debated his choices like it was a live-action tragedy unfolding before their eyes. What should have been the fairy tale rookie season of a lifetime instead became a cautionary soap opera. With every new headline, it felt less like love and more like a perfectly scripted play, with Travis cast as the star athlete turned victim, and Leanna in the role of the mastermind who saw the loopholes, saw the payday, and never once looked back. As the months rolled on, the cracks in Travis and Leanna's picture-perfect image only widened. What should have been the golden start of a young superstar's married life began to look more like a PR nightmare unraveling in real time. Every move was dissected online. Fans noticed Leanna stopped showing up courtside, stopped posting supportive partner content, and instead leaned into cryptic messages and moody captions. Meanwhile, Travis looked increasingly isolated, smiling for cameras but clearly carrying a different weight behind the scenes. Then came the bombshell, rumors of financial disputes spilling into their inner circle. Friends whispered about arguments over spending, with Travis tightening his focus on investments and savings, while Leanna allegedly pushed for a lifestyle upgrade. Designer trips, luxury shopping sprees, and late-night events clashed directly with his grind to secure his future. The fairy tale glow was gone, replaced by whispers of resentment. Comment sections lit up with fans asking the same brutal question. Was she ever really in it for him, or just for the lifestyle? And for the first time, even die-hard supporters started shifting sides. The tide of public opinion was no longer split. It was turning. By the time the headlines about a looming divorce surfaced, the internet wasn't shocked. They were nodding along. To many, it wasn't the beginning of the end. It was the end finally catching up to a story that had been crumbling in plain sight all along. Normally, newlyweds flood their feeds with glowing photos, gushy captions, and best day of my life posts, but this time, silence. No honeymoon selfies, no dreamy captions, just a carefully curated feed that felt more like an obligation than a celebration. It didn't take long for reality to catch up. As the honeymoon haze faded and money pressures grew, the digital trail started speaking louder than words. Leanna's once constant online presence suddenly went dark. The wild party highlights? Gone. The picture-perfect couple snapshots? Deleted. In their place, cryptic posts, or worse, nothing at all. Then came the moment that had the internet buzzing, a late-night video, quickly deleted, showing Leanna in tears with the caption, "Sometimes you give everything and it's still not enough." Instantly, speculation exploded. Was it regret, a crack in the relationship, or just a sympathy play as the divorce storm turned ugly? Either way, the damage was done. Internet sleuths wasted no time piecing the puzzle together. Vanishing posts, unfollows, sudden no-shows at events. The writing on the wall wasn't just there anymore, it was impossible to ignore. And when the divorce news finally broke, the critics who warned Travis from day one swarmed the comment sections. "We saw this coming a mile away!" Even fans who once cheered for the couple now admitted the ending felt inevitable. What started as a fairy tale dissolved into yet another cautionary tale. Proof that ignoring red flags doesn't just drain your bank account, it can drain your peace too. And that's the story, raw and unfiltered. What do you think? Was this doomed from the start, or could it have been saved? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment to keep this conversation alive, and I'll catch you in the next one.